This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. One of my favorite games of all time is Warhammer Quest, the old original from the 90s. This game was masterful. It was absolutely beyond words. It's out of print and dead, and we never thought we'd see another copy of it ever come around. It originated from HeroQuest and worked its way all the way to this. Well, a couple of years ago, they came out with a new version, and they put the moniker Warhammer Quest on it. You knew I was jumping out of my skin to get my hands on this. Is it good? Does it play like the other one? Is it everything I could ever want, only in the Age of Sigmar? There's only one way to find out. Let's go down to the table and check.
Alright, Warhammer Quest Silver Tower. I am not going to explain every single rule, but we're going to go over a few things and just you'll have a good gist of how this really works. Now, of course, with every GW game, they have the most awesome miniatures that you can ever imagine, and you know, just don't spray one color of paint on them. They deserve to be painted, and it doesn't matter how you paint them. Just take your time and enjoy it. It's part of the hobby, and I think you'll really enjoy it. And you can see they got some heroes here that are really pretty neat to look at. And of course, the massive villains. And we'll be going over in the new set how to paint the new set, and I'll show you how to paint this set as well. And you can see they have a lot of Tanish. It's a very Tanish themed type of game. Here's our elven hero and another big baddie, as you can see. Just nice simple paint jobs, and of course our pink horror. What game is complete without a pink horror, right? Now everything is kind of run off this Destiny area here. And you have treasure cards, and then you have event cards and things that like that'll happen. Now, kind of like the old game, how it all begins is you start at the beginning of a chamber, and that's how, you start at the beginning of a thing, and you can randomly turn you'll have a certain amount of these cards in here for that particular adventure. What happens then is this adventure book, and it will tell you what type of adversaries that will come out once you have an unexpected event or adversaries encounter table. It'll tell you which one to roll on. You'll roll 2d6, and for instance, let's just take a look here. With a 7, you would get 1 Acolyte and a d3 Blue Horrors, which is just nasty to begin with. Now, the one thing that gets me is there's a whole story, and the story is absolutely fantastic. I'm not going to go into it too much, but there'll be certain things that tell you to go to passages, and you know, whatever happens, you'll have to go to another passage and so forth and so on. So this book basically is just one big story. The problem is once you finish the story, the replayability kind of goes away. Now, what you're trying to do is put together all these things which will form this particular thing, and they come in different shards. So each adventure you have to try to capture those shards, which is really cool. It comes with a very easy to learn guidebook, very easy, and explains everything. And on the back it has a nice reference table. Now, at the beginning of the phase, the round phase, you're going to roll 5 Destiny dice, and as you can see, any kind of doubles you'll kind of take away, but there are certain things that can happen, and everything will be placed in a particular order here. There's also a track for each player, and this is their experience a chart. And what happens is once you go all the way around, after doing certain amount of kills and so forth and so on, what'll happen is you'll get one of these cards, and it'll level you up basically and give you more abilities. Each tile has some kind of story or plays a big part into the game. I'm not going to show you those because I don't want to ruin it for you. So we're going to actually move this aside, and of course in GW fashion. The pieces are just absolutely fantastic. The art is just wonderful, and there are things on each side here. So for instance, we can hook this particular piece up with this piece here. All movement is done from the cards, and as you can see here, I'm going to show you, which is a new mechanic which goes into Warhammer Quest, which has never been. You get 4 dice, and you're going to roll those dice, and you are going to, if you're happy with them, you are going to assign them to these slots. Now each action that you take, you have to spend one of these dice. Now particularly here, and if we can zoom in on it just to give you a quick look here. There we go. Whoops. Got a little happy with the brand new camera. And we'll just slide it over here. There we go. As you can see, just to make a basic attack, it costs 1. So this, as you can see, is a 2, so that's +1, which is perfect. And if we were combating, our Quester Knight right here was fighting this Acolyte, we would just basically roll our dice. Now we rolled a 1, we needed a +3 to hit, so that is considered a miss. Now say we got a 5, which is perfect. We would do 2 damage to that particular to the Acolyte. They have a vigor or defense of 3, so they would take 2 wounds. Basically, and they have wound markers and all types of things that you can mark everything off on. And then if you want to battle again, of course, as long as you had something that was +1, which you do, you can attack him once again. Now you have a special ability here, which is 6+. So if we were able to roll a 6 and whatever other number that we had, we can use that special ability. We would have to roll that particular die and get a 3+ to do 3 damage. As you can see, you can save one of your dice, and maybe you have a 3+, and you could put it here, which will give you a guard stance, which means that you would save on a 3+ instead of a 4+. So there's a lot of little abilities and things like that that go into this that are just very, very interesting. But it's a far cry from the old Warhammer Quest, which I'm always very partial to. So you go through, and you would go through the dungeon, and as you turn these cards over, they will tell you the pieces that you would put, and then it would tell you where to go and on the encounter table. And you would fight your way to the end and try to claim the piece and fight a boss at the end of each particular level to get that particular shard. So that's pretty much in a nutshell how this game is played. There's a great app out there, as you can see you can see in the box. You can download and you can create and actually use different heroes to go through this again. But you already know the adventure, so I guess it's just more trying to do it with a different type of hero. The models are beautiful. All the components are beautiful, and it's very well and easily laid out. It falls into the Age of Sigmar universe, and I really like it. I really do. But do I think it is as great as the old Warhammer? I guess there's only one way to find out. Let's go up top and
I've seen people rave about this and say it's such a great game and this, that, and the other. It's not Warhammer Quest. Okay, the old one was more of a role-playing game. You can do different things and you can play it over and over and over again. This is not that. This has certain scenarios, you go through them, you discover things, and you go, wow, that was cool. And each mission gets better and better, and you can level up your guys a bit and stuff like that. It has a little bit of that feel. The mechanics are a little different, but all in all, it's not Warhammer Quest. The other thing that really kind of bothers me about this is you play it once, then you know how it plays every single time. There's no randomness. There's no way to change it around, or like the other one, it has a role-playing book where you can make your own
type of adventures. You play it once, you know what's inside the book there, and that's kind of about it. Is it a good game? Yeah. Is it a great game? Almost. If it had some replayability, or they found a way to write more stories and give us like more pamphlets in the Warhammer, the White Dwarf there. They gave us one, but that was it. They moved on to the next one, which was Shadows of Hemworld. So what do you do with this? I like this. I love the way the miniatures painted up. As you can see, they were beautiful, and of course they're GW miniatures. But I wanted more. I wanted more out of this. I'm glad they came out with another set, but to be honest with you, I wanted more in this box. I was interested in the things that were here. I would have loved to see more or an expansion to it. That did not happen, but I really, really enjoyed this when I did play it. So I would have to give this a 3.5 because A, it's a great dungeon crawl. It really is. But it's not Warhammer Quest, which is one of my favorite games of all time. So that's it for me from Review Corner. I hope you guys really enjoyed this, and as always, I'm Rob Warren, and I'll see you soon.
Sponsored by Miniature Market's Review Corner. The Review Corner features podcasts, videos, and written reviews by gamers for gamers. Miniature Market, online gaming superstore, thousands of games and minis, discount prices. Check them out at miniaturemarket.com.